Hey family, it's Kay. So today I'm going to be sharing with you repotting your homegrown plants. I've got a few that I've got growing, just tomatoes, peppers, just simple stuff. But they're getting bigger and the roots need to stretch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just move them from the starter tray to a pot so they can get bigger. And then from the pot, they'll go into the ground, which is usually I wait for first or second week of June. So stay with me so I can show you how the process goes. So as you can see here, these are my tomatoes that are growing in the trays. They're a little bit fluffy because the same reason, they need to stretch the roots, and that's why they tend to fall over a bit. So as soon as I change them into deeper pots, they will stretch right back up again. So this is how they are at first, and let's go through the process. Okay guys, so we're going to put these and transplant them to these pots, just the tomatoes and peppers and the herbs as well. So I have some sheep manure in the Voila bag, and I'm just checking it here now, and it is very wet, and that is not good for the roots to breathe through. Because if it's too wet, and as you can see, it's kind of sticky, the roots are not going to get enough oxygen and they will overflow with water and they could kill the plant. So I'm just checking my soil bags here because I kind of left them out over the winter time, and I'm just checking the density, the texture, and what's good and what's not good. So, but I still do need the sheep manure as a fertilizer and to mix with the soil that I'll be using. So what I'll do, I'll just blend the two to make it a proper density so that there's enough oxygen, airflow, and as well as moisture. So at first I'm going to put in some soil and I'll be mixing it with the manure. There we go. And you want to get right in there, guys. Really, really blend the two. Again, we want to make sure it's not too wet, not too dry. This soil that I'm using to mix it, I had this inside as well because so that means that the soil temperature is at room temperature right now. So it's still a little warm, which is good for the roots once I put them in there. So I'm going to do this process right now with the other pots and move along this process. Okay guys, so just to take a look at the texture here, it's not too wet and it's not too dry. This is the type of texture you want when you're blending the two soils, the manure and the soil that you're going to be using. This particular pot I'm going to put the tomatoes in, same for all the pots here. So we'll just put some space in the middle here where I'll just transplant the tomato flower. And you know what guys, you want to use your bare hands for this. I don't know, like you really don't need gloves for this process. The gloves I usually use it when I actually go in the ground dirt, but the potting soil, it's nice to get get your hands in the soil and really feel the textures. And this is how you learn the soil. It's how you learn how to feel for it, how to understand it, because soil, again, it's everything. So we have to know how and what it likes and how it likes it to be. So these two tomato plants here, usually people would plant two in one angle of the starter cup and get rid of one and keep one. You see how the roots are kind of dry here? They definitely need a little moisture. But there's the baby roots. You want to be very delicate with these guys. I usually keep the two of them because you know what? You just never know which one will flourish better than the other. And you want to just ensure that you have a good plant. So I always keep the two that I plant initially because you just never know which one will grow stronger than the other. So you want to put them in one end of the pot so they each have enough room. And again guys, they are not going to be staying in these pots. This is just for them to stretch a bit until it's time for them to go into the ground. So I'm just going to move one here, just make a little bit of finger room, very, very gently guys, and place it down. Cover it with soil so that we have enough. And you can put these a little deeper too if you want, because just up the stem there's going to be more roots that will grow from that stem as well. So if you want to put them deeper, that's fine, because it's just going to grow into roots, which makes the plant a lot stronger. So you want to take out any rubbish that's not needed, gently pat them down and kneading it up around the edges, and we're good to go. And guys, sometimes when you put them in a new pot, the flower pot, like the top part of the plant, may flop over. That doesn't mean anything. It's just because the roots, again, they're going into a new temperature soil. So they're not used to it yet, but you'll see within 24 hours, the flower will stand right back up again. It's just kind of like going into a hot pool, and then you get out and you go into a freezing cold pool. Your body has to really get used to the temperature first before you're okay. It's kind of the same thing. So I'm just going to do the same process. I'm putting fertilizer, sheep manure down, mixing it with the soil to ensure the density and the texture and temperature is right. And then I'm going to transplant the other tomato flowers to each of the pots here. You want to make sure you do the same for each one. If it's too wet, add some dry soil. If it's too dry, add a little bit of the wet soil. And you can buy sheep manure from any garden store. I think I got mine from Rona. Yeah, I got mine from Rona. And they're about, I don't know, $5 each or so. But guys, I highly recommend the sheep manure. You can use any fertilizer you want, but you know, I prefer to use sheep's, because sheep's, all they eat is grass, and they're good, clean animals to use. So we know that good, clean stuff will be coming out. So sorry guys, but anyway, I highly recommend sheep manure. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on here, and I will be back as soon as I'm done. Okay guys, so here is the root again. It's very dry, as you can see, and when you transplant them, when you take off the old dirt, you want to just gently shake off the old dirt from around the root. Try your best not to rip the root. And then you want to put like a finger width apart of a hole into the soil. You want to gently place it in, and then gently cover it up, guys, because you have to remember they're very delicate. They're still young. I still call them babies. So be very gentle not to snap any stems and any leaves or any of the true leaves that come up. Gently push it down, and then gently just cover over the top with the soil. And these two tomato trees will develop into something magnificent, guys. Just give it your tender love and tender care, and it's going to be magnificent, just like that. Okay guys, so I'm going to move over the peppers in this pot. It's just a pot that I've always had. You just need something big enough, because I'm going to have a few in here. So for my compost, I'm going to put in the sheep manure. And again, it will have to be blended because it's just a little bit too rich in moisture at this time. So you want to put enough in at the bottom, break it up, you know, make it as flaky as possible. prior to putting in the soil. I'm just going to mix that up there and then add some of my lovely soil. Again, this soil is room temperature, and it will ease the temperature for the roots to get used to the temperature in here. And you're going to really mix it up, and you want it to be flaky, have enough airflow, again, not too moist, not too dry, just like this, guys. Blend it nicely, and it should be able to break and separate easily, just like this, for your roots to have a comfortable bed in. So as you can see, I've put just a few peppers in here, just like this. Again, gently, easy. These guys are going to stay in here until they get a little bit taller, and then they'll have to be transplanted over to the ground. And there you have it, guys. Here, I'm doing the same thing with my herbs. I've got some basil, some thyme, and a few other bits in here. Again, even with these guys, even more gentle because the roots are tender. And yes, I know my nails are dirty, but you know what, guys? Some people don't know, but the dirt, the soil, is actually good for your nails, and it gives them a lot of nutrients. So again, I cut the video, but here we've got one corn, we've got some zucchini, and here's my peppers and tomatoes. So now there's my herbs, and now I'm gonna just clean this up. So I'm done all the repotting, and I'm ready to bring the babies back inside where it's warm, because they still have to be warm. So I'm going to find a place inside and going to have them have lots of sunlight and let them stretch from there. So if you have questions, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this little video tutorial. Take care, guys. Bye.